Welcome to Tech for Good Made Easy. I'm your host, Randy Paynter, and I had a different show planned for this week, but there were a number of really big announcements from OpenAI, the folks behind ChatGPT, so I'm going to focus on those instead. More specifically, I'm going to show you how and why you should check out OpenAI's latest service they're calling GPTs. GPTs are basically custom versions of their main service, ChatGPT. Now, why would you want to create a custom version when ChatGPT is already so good? The short answer is because you can use a GPT to create consistently better or customized outputs for you or your organization. I'll give you 3 examples. First, you can use a GPT to help you and everyone else in your organization to quickly write newsletters or PowerPoint presentations in the style of your organization. A custom GPT is better than ChatGPT because you can easily share it throughout your organization and it won't get lost or erased like what happens today if you're using ChatGPT a lot. Also, you can continue to upgrade it and improve it over time, and it can incorporate a lot of training data, unlike what you're able to do with ChatGPT. Second example, you could also create a GPT which could serve as an online Q&A chatbot to educate your constituents about chemicals in drinking water, the issues facing wolves in the United States, or whatever your organization is focused on. And you don't need to be an engineer. A year ago, this wasn't really even possible. 2 weeks ago, you needed to hire an engineer to do this. Today, I'll show you how to do this by yourself in just minutes. Third example, you could use a GPT to help you create a mock interviewer who could ask you questions and provide feedback to help you prepare for press interviews. The possibilities are really endless. The core functionality behind this has been available since OpenAI launched ChatGPT about a year ago, but it used to take a lot of time and technical know-how to create these. Now, anyone can do this in just minutes. Before I jump in to show you how to create your own GPTs, I just want to do a quick update on some of the recommendations I've made here in the past. As I've been saying, things are moving incredibly quickly, and this past week there were some very big advances I want to tell you about. First, I've recommended this before, but I'd say it's more important than ever. Upgrade to GPT-4, or as they're now calling it, ChatGPT Plus. It costs $20 a month and will save you that much through productivity enhancements almost immediately. GPT-4, or Plus as they're now calling it, was amazing a month ago, and it's even better today. They're using all that feedback they get from users to constantly improve the results, and it's making a big difference. Second, this past week, OpenAI announced that they're updating the core data set to April 2023. You may recall that previously the data was about 18 months old, so this means the system now knows there's a war in Ukraine, and it has a lot more data to provide even better results. Third, you can now have ChatGPT Plus analyze and use a huge amount of data. Initially, if you wanted to summarize a long story, it could only handle a couple of paragraphs at a time. You can now upload the equivalent of a 300-page book. That's a lot of data. Fourth, image analysis. This is a truly mind-blowing feature that they rolled out briefly, then pulled it back. I'm sure they're going to add it back soon. It allows you to upload a photo, and ChatGPT can figure out what's in that photo and then use that for analysis or for answering questions about what you're looking at. Computer vision has been a really tough problem for companies to solve, and this new ability is going to knock your socks off. And finally, fifth, integrated features. Several videos ago, I showed you how to use GPT-4 plugins, which provide added functionality like apps on your phone. What OpenAI has done is basically incorporated a lot of that functionality into its main GPT Plus chat. So just using the main chat feature, it will now automatically search the web if it needs to, or it can create an image, or build a PowerPoint presentation, or do math calculations. In other words, it's getting closer and closer to what computer scientists call an AGI, which stands for Artificial General Intelligence, which means a system that can think and learn like humans do across a broad spectrum of tasks, rather than just being good at one specific thing. It's not totally there yet, but you can see the potential with all of these integrated services they now offer. Okay, so let's jump into today's session, which is how to build your own personal GPT. I'm going to show you how to build a GPT that will create petitions with a consistent style, and I can give this tool to my colleagues or make it available for the public. Okay, so hopefully you're now all familiar with this screen, which is the main page for ChatGPT-4, as you can see up here. And they've added a new option up here called Explore. So we're going to click on Explore, and then click on Create a GPT. And what we have here is there are 2 screens on this window. On the left, we have where we're going to add our instructions on how to build our GPT. And on the right is where we're going to preview that GPT, which they call the playground. So it says, what would you like to make? So I'm going to say a petition creator. Great. It says it's going to create a GPT that specializes in crafting petitions. Let's start with a GPT, giving it a name, Petition Draft Pro. Sure, sounds good. So now it is actually creating an image for my GPT. This is an example of how they've integrated a lot of these functionalities into one prompt. So it's creating text, but now it's also creating images. Here's the image. All right, the quill and ink pot. The old quill and ink pot looks lovely. I'm going to say good enough for now. Great. Okay, now it's going to refine the context for Petition Draft Pro. Let's consider its role and goal. So I'm going to say it is help people create petitions in the style of popular petitions from the petitionsite.com. Here are some examples. All right, so I'm going to go to the petitionsite.com, and we've got one here, captive elephants in Thailand. I'm going to copy the text from this here, and then I'm going to paste that text back in as an example here that is going to help to inform the GPT and give it some context for creating the kind of outcome that we're looking for. While it's doing that, I'm going to go back up here to the Care2 petition site. I am going to then copy another popular petition. This one's got, looks like 47,000 signers. I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, here's another example. Okay, I'm going to add one more example from the petition site. This one has got 51,000 signatures. All right, we're going to go back, add it in here. So I'm going to say one more example. Okay, so now it says Petition Draft Pro is now fully equipped to assist users in crafting petitions with strong emotional narratives and persuasive messaging similar to successful petitions on the petitionsite.com. All right, I'm going to ask it to do one more thing. I'm going to say, when in doubt, only use facts. All right. We don't want it making stuff up. So it's going to update its model with that in mind. Okay, so it says Petition Draft Pro is now tailored to focus on creating fact-based, emotionally resonant petitions. It emphasizes the use of factual information, steering clear of speculation or unverified claims, while still crafting persuasive and impactful narratives. All right, love it. So now let's go test this out over here, which is the playground. And I'm going to use the story from the New York Times about more oil, gas, and coal are coming. So I'm going to copy this here. I'm going to paste it in here. I'm going to say, create a petition based on this story from the New York Times. I'm going to paste it in. Let's just make sure there isn't like advertising, which are not really relevant to this. It will ignore it. It's probably fine to leave it in there, but just let's get rid of it. I'm going to now hit enter, and let's see what Petition Draft Pro comes up with. So it says, title, Urgent Call for Climate Action, Halting the Escalation of Fossil Fuel Production. And it's got to and from, subject, urgent need to address the escalation of fossil fuel production. Here are the issues, coverage by the New York Times, the consequences, the contradiction that is talked about in the story, our demand, immediate action to revise and align national energy policies with the goal of limiting global warming, etc. So it looks pretty good. Obviously you're going to want to do a whole lot of testing. You're going to want to do a whole lot of refining of the model. You're going to add a whole lot more examples than what I've done. This is just kind of a quick and dirty kind of overview so that you know how to use this. I'm then going to hit save up here. And I have three options. I can save it for myself. I can save it for me and sharing it with people with a link, or I can make it public. And I'm going to make it public, so anyone can use it. And here it is, available for anyone to use. Now, let's say you use it for a while and you decide you want to modify it a little bit. So you can go back up here to Explore. You see Petition Draft Pro. Here's my GPT right here. I'm going to now edit it. And I can go either add more attributes and instructions here, or I can go up to this Configure tab here. I can change the name of it, description, conversation starters. These are these ideas over here to get people started that they can click on. I can create custom questions here if I'd like to. This one here is important. This is knowledge, or you can upload files. So this, if you have a lot of data that you want to use to train your GPT, you can upload an Excel spreadsheet. You can upload a large text file. This is a great idea if you've got lots of examples of the type of output that you're looking for. Of course, yeah, you're going to hit update before you are done, and you hit confirm. And then here is my URL that I can use to share my custom GPT of Petition Draft Pro. Great. So hopefully you found that helpful, and I'm looking forward to all sorts of fun and interesting and useful GPTs that you come up with. So if you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and let your colleagues know. If you have comments, questions, or ideas for future episodes, you can DM me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Paynter, that's Paynter with a Y, and or please post your comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback to make sure you're getting a lot of value out of this. Thank you, and have an amazing day.